Brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV. Today we're in our Tempe, Arizona studio with Kelly Jones of Russ Lyon Sothebys.
Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining me on Real Estate Pros.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So for those watching that don't know who you are, we'll give you a moment to introduce yourself.
I'm Kelly Jones with Russ Lyon Sothebys International Realty. I work out of the Camelback office in Scottsdale.
Awesome.
Been selling real estate. I actually moved here from San Francisco 6 years ago.
Wow. So you went from $5 million price points to 200. No, just kidding.
Well, it's interesting because I actually didn't have my license in San Francisco, but my husband always said I knew more about real estate than our friends that did have their license. So when we moved here, my husband had sold his business. My youngest was in middle school, and it really allowed me the opportunity to go after something that I was really passionate about.
Awesome. So what do you like most about Arizona, or do you miss San Francisco?
Well, of course, anybody who's lived there knows that San Francisco is a spectacular city.
Mm-hmm.
I miss a lot of things, but what I appreciate about Phoenix, and that is the pace of life is much slower. And I didn't really understand how fast-paced it was in San Francisco until I moved here. It's just a lot more relaxed, a lot easier lifestyle. And of course, the weather is very.
And here I thought our pace of living was
fast.
No.
No.
Can't imagine faster, or like
No.
New York City, or
Yeah.
I guess San Francisco is kind of like a big city, like New York City.
100%. And since I've left, it's even grown much more, and the traffic is a lot more difficult, which we don't really have much traffic here.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because if you live here, driving somewhere like 15, 20 minutes is a long distance, and people will kvetch about it, but in San Francisco, you're just getting out the front door practically. It can be really difficult.
So did you guys live in the city in San Francisco? Because I've been out there visiting. They got the trolleys, but like it seems like you would almost be better traveling on bike or something, you know?
No, I mean, when I first moved to San Francisco from Seattle, I was living in Europe and came back home and decided to go to San Francisco. I lived in the city, met my husband, and then we moved to Marin County. So we actually lived in Sausalito and eventually had a home in Mill Valley.
Oh, Sausalito is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
That's the city that's like right across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in San Francisco, especially when they get married and start having children, they move out into the counties, Marin County, the East Bay. The weather's a lot nicer. Not so foggy in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really nice. But my husband sold his business and we started to invest down here. We were originally buying blocks of homes and renovating them and flipping them, and he convinced me to move down here, check in on our investments, and make the move, which was really nice for us.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of living is much, much lower.
Yeah.
And then it really allowed me the opportunity. I spent the first year really getting to know the area. I would literally walk every day a new neighborhood, and I was on Redfin and Zillow and Trulia because I didn't have my license at that point.
Yeah.
And became very familiar with the market and got my license and was fortunate enough to get hired on by Sothebys Russ Lyon, which is really only by invitation, and hit the ground running and has done really well.
So what do you like most about working with Russ Lyon Sothebys and being a real estate agent in general?
I think what I like most about Russ Lyon and that it is a top real estate firm. I mean, it's really a white glove approach, as we like to say, and we really take good care of our clients. We have great marketing pieces, and we actually market all over the world. So believe it or not, when you list with me, your home is on the Sotheby's site all over the world. What I love most about being a real estate agent, I've really come to understand. I've known it about me, but I think I'm exceptionally good at helping people in transition. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to work with people that are getting a divorce, or their children have left the home and they're downsizing, or somebody has passed away. I'm very in tune to the needs of individuals and can understand and be empathetic to that. And I really don't put a lot of pressure on my clients. We just take our time. Some people think I'm crazy. I've worked with people for a whole year to find their home. And I've looked at them and said, we're not buying anything unless when you walk through the front door, you know. And they always laugh at me. They say, "What are you talking about?" And I say, "Trust me." And then it happens. And you see that light in their eyes and that face light up, and they go, "You're right. This is it." And I go, "Okay, now we're going to buy the one." So that's fun. That's really fun when people are that excited to spend that kind of money.
And that's one thing I've noticed also about Restline Sothebys is that they really care about the perception of their listings. Like, if I think about Restline, you think of a luxury brand, right? Of high end, and even like they have very good standards on like the photography. I think we did one on like a higher end listing. They're like, you can't show any toilet. Like there's certain things you can't have, or they're like.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because I've had a lot of people tell me, "Well, you're a luxury agent." Absolutely. And I don't think that you can handle my business. And I look at them and I say, we handle all price ranges.
Yeah.
You know, it's all relative. And I think that when you have a realtor that is empathetic to that and can understand that maybe that $200,000 purchase or $500,000 sale price home is relevant to you. And we do. It doesn't matter if it's $200,000 or $20 million. You're going to get the same kind of respect and customer service all the way across, no matter what. So yeah, we have high standards, and we have high standards amongst individuals. And our company is really very firm on that, which is nice. We can rely on our colleagues to do the job right.
So what part of the valley do you cover?
I'm predominantly in Paradise Valley and Arcadia. I've actually been in Biltmore a little bit now as well. I really go to where my clients need me. I have been pulled out to all areas, especially on referrals. And I feel that if someone has referred me a client, they're asking a favor of me, and I will take it on. I don't typically will refer that business out. It is just a very personal thing to me when someone refers a business. I might take on somebody to help me co-list it, especially if they're really strong in that area. But I find that most of us that are in the market and understand the market, we can learn any area and do a really good job for them regardless. So we go all over. I've been all up in North Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Wherever they need me, I go.
So having been in the business for several years now.
Yeah, I would say very strongly now working with my license the past 4 years.
Okay, so the last 4 years. What are some big business drivers for you in 2018?
What do you mean by it? Like,
so like activities that you focus on and like
to build the business,
like referral based business, or like you do a lot of open houses. I mean, there's so many pieces of real estate, right?
Yeah, no, there are. As I said earlier, yes, referrals are big. But people do come to me and say, how did you get into the luxury market? How did you build this market so strong? I mean, my sales, I was one of the top in my company and in my office, and I'm slated to do even stronger this year. A lot of it really is open house, I tell people, because technology has come to us in such a way that most people are on their smartphone. And I have found that they typically are looking prior to even reaching out to their realtor. And I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not doing open houses. And I think that for people that are selling their homes, because they'll argue, well, that's just a place for you to pick up clients. I also think making the home available to see, independent of their realtor. I mean, even as realtors, we'll send our clients without us, because sometimes they want that luxury to just kind of bounce around. And when you have an open house, it allows them the opportunity to go through. I think it's something that most people need to really start considering, doing more open houses and having it available for all types of people to come through. Because you could very likely sell that home. I've heard it many times where I wasn't looking. I walked into this house and I'm going to buy this one. It does happen. So that's a big part of my business. I think digital marketing is really big too. Videos, we're doing a lot more videos. And networking is really important. You might go to a social event. I think networking with your colleagues is extremely important. I do a lot of that, do a lot of tours like Paradise Valley Tour, Arcadia Tour, Biltmore Tour. Really knowing your inventory is key. Because I can sell a house, introduce myself to the neighbors, and I'll turn the corner, I have 3 new listings. So really putting yourself out there and being genuine.
Sure, and for that area in particular, there seems to be a lot of custom homes. So from a realtor perspective, how do you go about pulling or creating a comparables, right, to be able to price properties? Because that can be a challenge, right? You know, it's real easy if you're in a house and there's cookie cutter ones. They're all the same. Oh, that one sold 2 weeks ago for this, and it's the exact same floor plan.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with custom homes, what is that process?
And as I mentioned earlier, that's where really networking with your colleagues, going to the tours. This morning I was at the Paradise Valley Luxury Tour, and that typically is every other Friday, and we're looking at, on average, 10 homes. Because you're right, you could be in a multi-million-dollar home in PV, and right next door could be a complete teardown for $1 million. Understanding your market and how you might have to go outside that immediate area to get that comp is really important. I mean, they say on average you should be looking at 10 homes a week, and that's really important. If you really want to be the focused of an expert in that area, know the market.
And I think that's important because you can only see so much on Zillow, but when you can go in and tour houses, you see like the finishings, like the quality of the build. You can only see so much from outside and make assumptions based on square footage, right?
Yeah, and I think also, I always tell people, I may walk into your $3 million listing. I may not have a buyer for that today, but I can almost guarantee you I might have one tomorrow. And it's very easy for me to gain the confidence of my clients when they hear me talking about the homes that I have physically been in, as opposed to looking on Zillow. And there is a difference.
Yeah.
You understand the depth and the quality of finishes, and even sometimes you figure out, oh, this is a west-facing backyard. This is a deal killer. I mean, there are a lot of things that you cannot pick up by looking online. And I would advise any realtor who wants to get in the business, if that's all you're doing, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to physically go on tours. I do a lot of title company tours too. I think that is key. And I've been fortunate enough to meet some really great colleagues through that process. And I think it's about eyes on property. It's really important.
Absolutely.
And the feedback too. A lot of the tours that I've been on, everybody has always made one comment to me, and their main comment has been, you really give some great insight and advice on it. It's constructive criticism. I want them to sell that property. That's what they want me there for, and we're there to help each other. It doesn't matter if I'm making any money off it or not. At the end of the day, we're all trying to help each other sell.
I mean, that's really important, and getting eyeballs, the more views on it through networking and showing up and just, obviously you guys, as realtors, we work individually, but also kind of together, right? Because you care.
Absolutely. And if you make it all about you, you're not going to win. You're not going to get anywhere. If you genuinely care about your colleagues and helping them, it will come back to you in tenfold. And I think also networking with your colleagues, because there are a lot of homes that are off market that are what we call pocket listings. And that's important. And that really helps you make the connection to a potential buyer, that you are that connected, that you know about things that nobody else knows about. Again, if you're sitting at your desk and looking on MLS, you're not going to pick that up.
Oh yeah, and those are very common in those kind of areas, pocket listings, or a seller that I'm considering selling to the right, but Yeah,
I mean, sometimes I have a colleague that he just announced this morning. It was a multi-million-dollar listing. It was a pocket listing, and he sold it and brought the buyer for it as well. So it does happen. It really, and when certain price ranges, it can be very powerful in certain areas as well.
So if somebody watching this is interested in reaching out to you, asking you some questions, or having you represent them as a buyer or seller, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, they can call me directly. I think my number is on the screen, but it's 480-399-9322. They're more than happy to call me or email me. I'm always open to anybody just picking my brain. Again, it's helpful to everybody as a whole to just make yourself available, especially with my expertise. Sometimes people are missing something that they need that will help them buy or sell their home.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kelly,
Thank
for
you.
joining me on
All
Real
right,
Estate Pros
thanks.
this
Good luck to
afternoon.
you.
And we will see you guys on the next episode.